Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Kingpin, which is basically the only reason anybody bought any of the figures from this wave. It's easily the weakest wave we've seen in a long time, but it has one of the most sought-after Build-A-Figures. Coincidence? I think not. What the heck is that? There's stuff all over his jacket. If you're gonna make a figure in a white suit, you should at least try to keep it from getting all shitty in the handling process before it gets to the customer. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 20 centimeters, which makes him just about 7 3/4 inches, pretty close to that. He's got some size to him. For a quick comparison, I will show you what he looks like next to Spider-Man. He's quite large. He is very girthy and rather tall, and he is exactly what Kingpin should look like, so that is a good thing. As far as the aesthetics go, the paint job is fine where there is paint. You can see the buttons there, the thing here, the tie is clean, the shirt up there is fine. It's okay. They did paint the cuffs of his jacket. That's alright. These would be white, so that's okay. The ring is painted nice enough. It's okay. The face, on the other hand, is lacking because the eyes don't really have the right look to them, and they don't quite fit in the eyes. Like, the eyes are overlapping on the eyelids, and if you look at this angle, you can see that his eyes kind of come to a point. It's not as noticeable here, but it is right here. Look at that. It looks like his face got squished. The human eye does not do that. Your eye does not have a flat surface that goes at a 45-degree angle forward just because you're furrowing your brow. It's very strange. Anyway, that's not a big deal because you can just not use that head. But here's the big deal. Like you saw in the beginning of the video, he's solid white plastic, and there's scuffs and smushes and smudges and all kinds of spots all over him. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as the old Kingpin figure, which came out like 100 years ago, but it's not as good as I would expect for a company in this day and age. It shouldn't be that hard to keep the figure from looking like crap in the handling process from the factory to the customer. That's a big time bummer. So for the aesthetics, he only gets a 7 out of 10. If he was stark white, it would have been much higher. I would have excused the other problems, but because he looks like a used figure fresh out of the package, that is a problem. As far as accessories go, you saw we do have the interchangeable heads. We have the neutral head, and then we have the angry head, which is almost done really well, but the way the eyes are pinched forward in a really unnatural way, it's kind of weird looking. And we do have his cane thingy with the crystal on top, which looks pretty cool. So accessories, 6 out of 10. Interchangeable head's a cool thing, but not very well executed. As for the articulation, this guy does have some things that are pretty good. The head articulation is fine. He can look up pretty well. Can't really go down any farther than that because his chins are in the way. You can rotate the head. That's fine. No real attitude, but the rotation is okay. For the shoulders, you can bring them up past horizontal, so that's good. Full rotation's fine. Single jointed elbow, not quite 90 degrees. That's a bummer. It does rotate, but you still get less than 90 degrees. So like I said, bummer. For the wrist, you get your swivel and your hinge. Same thing on this side, even though this hand is cupped for his cane. For his diaphragm joint, you would expect him to have a lot of range because he's so round. I can't get it to do anything but rotate, which is a big oversight. There's no reason that's not just a double ball peg so he can lean over. Like, he's taller than everybody. Shouldn't he be able to lean over and look at him? He can't look down, so that's not good. He can't pose at the torso. There's no reason for that. It's already articulated. Just make it a double ball peg or a single ball peg, some kind of ball peg. They didn't. For the hips, you can bring the legs forward about 15 to 20 degrees. Almost no range. Going out to the side, not quite 45. So almost no range in the hips, so you're not going to be posing him very much. You do get a thigh swivel though, and for the knee, you get less than 45 degrees. And it's ugly as all heck. Look at this. Look at the back of the knee. Smooth. It's smooth here. There's no big cuff right there for no reason. On the front of the knee, they put this giant thing here. There's no reason for that. It doesn't need to meet that part because now you have two things rather than one. This should be smooth on the front too, rather than having what looks like an eye poking out of his knee. It's just goofy, and it has bad range. It rotates though, if you ever need that. And then for the ankles are just about worthless. They have almost no range, and you can rotate them a little bit. So really the ankles are only going to be good for making sure that he's able to stand straight up and down effectively. His legs are just about worthless. His elbows aren't great. His torso sucks. Yeah, it's a Kingpin figure, and he's going to stand there and look like Kingpin, but that's really all it's going to do. So as far as an action figure goes, the articulation is severely lacking. This guy gets a 3 out of 10 for articulation. It's just not good. It's not good at all. They totally phoned it in. They knew people were going to buy it, I'm guessing, and were like, we don't have to try hard. And they didn't. They didn't care at all. They gave 0 at all. That's where I'm going to leave that. As for the overall verdict on the figure, I don't know. It's one of the figures that I think people, or at least one of the Build-A-Figures that people were most excited for. So I'm guessing most people are saying how awesome it is, because that tends to be how things work. But practically speaking, he's not an impressive Build-A-Figure. His articulation is bad. His finish is not good. His accessories are only okay. Overall, I'm gonna give this guy 5 chins out of 10. It's just okay. It'll do, and he'll be fine standing in the back of a shelf. But don't expect to pose him really at all, or really to enjoy the figure at all. It's just really phoned in. So that's a bummer. This whole wave is pretty much a big dud, including the Build-A-Figure, which was like the reason people were buying it anyway. So gotta say, not the best wave, Hasbro. Not a whole lot of really bad stuff, just really not a whole lot of good stuff, I guess is a better way of putting it. So we're going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a whole lot. And if you haven't subscribed, that would help me out a whole lot too. And it would help out you, because I have tons and tons of videos that are all geared towards saving you money. So if you are ever curious about buying a figure, if it's worth the investment, and I've reviewed it, I can give you a little bit of insight into that, and might save you a little bit of money. So make sure you check out all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.